I don't know about you, but my journey's been touched with cancer. And I wonder if maybe joining the conversation today will be useful for you. I don't know. Come along and join us on Uplift today and find out. Talk soon. G'day. Thanks for joining us today. Whether you're watching us live or in replay, know we appreciate you. Hey, my name's Sarah Wade. I'm coming to you live from Perth in Western Australia. And as usual, my amazing co-host and friend, Mr. Neil Thrussell, is joining us from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Welcome, Neil.
Thank you, Sarah. And it's summer kind of, or spring has finally arrived in Calgary. I'm always jealous of the weather in Perth because I really like it hot. But we hit a high of 25, which at this time of year, and where I'm from in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, that's pretty darn good.
We'll take it, hey? We've got a lovely guest joining us today. She's a nurse, she's a healthy living advocate, and she's an amazing human. Also from Perth in Western Australia, we have Sheryl Botheras joining us. Thanks for joining us, Sheryl.
Thank you, Sarah and Neil. It's great to be here.
Pleasure to have you. So I'm just going to ask a question. How do you go from being a nurse and working through the fact that you've got cancer and having a healthy, happy life? How does that all tie together for you?
Well, it's weird, isn't it? I mean, I never thought that I would get cancer, Sarah. I was diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer at the end of 2020. And I discovered it myself, and I've worked many years in women's health in particular. I've been a midwife for about 27 years. I was a maternal and child health nurse. I ran women's health clinics up in the Pilbara for about 11 years. And I used to actually teach women how to check themselves for breast cancer. And I was casually lying on the bed one day, getting ready to go on a holiday the next day, literally a caravan trip up north for 3 weeks with a whole group of people. There's 22 of us on this trek. And I'm lying on the bed just absent-mindedly thinking, what am I going to pack for tomorrow? And, just having a bit of a casual feel of my boob, and found this massive mass. And as soon as I found it, I knew that I had breast cancer because I had taught people how to check for cancer for many years, and was attached to my rib.
Yes. Oh, she's come back again. Sorry, we lost you ever for a moment. So go back in time, Sheryl, for us for a moment. So you were laying on your bed, you found this lump, and you knew you had cancer. Like, I can't imagine what went through your head. Tell us a bit more.
Because I've been teaching people how to check themselves for so many years, I just knew that that was a very ominous lump. It was huge. It was about 3 centimeters long to be exact, and I could feel that it was attached to my rib. So it was a pretty horrendous time, and I actually did go on the holiday the next day, but I booked appointments for when I came back. I knew the journey that I was going to be on. It was pretty horrendous. I kind of had to put that in the back of my mind, I guess, while I tried to enjoy a trip. And it sounds crazy, but I did prepare myself mentally on that trip for the journey that I was about to undertake, because I knew that it was not going to be great. So yeah, I did that. I've always been health conscious. I've always liked alternative health therapies, and run a lot of health clinics for women in particular, and women and babies and those sort of things. So it's a topic that I've always been really passionate about.
So I have a question. Sorry, I have a question. So you said you've always liked alternative health therapies. What are, in your view, for our viewers and listeners, what are some of the alternative therapies that piqued your interest and that you, whether dabbled in or you know about, that helped you on your journey?
Things like massage. I have as a midwife, I've been a midwife for 27 years. While I've looked after women in labour for many years, I've been interested in massage and things like reflexology. I'm not a qualified reflexologist, but I have learnt trigger points that have helped women in labour get through the labour pains, and I've been using aromatherapy now for 28 years. I've also dabbled in meditation, or not dabbled, I've done meditation now for 28 years. I did that before I had children. I started doing that. And I can meditate so easily now, get myself into a zone that takes a bit to get out of. And all of those sort of measures can be really helpful for people when they're going through things, and even medical procedures. If you can learn to breathe your way through painful medical procedures or long scans and things like that. And as a patient, I think there's nothing more comforting than having a nurse who cares enough about you to actually offer you a massage if they have time.
It's the little things, absolutely.
It's the little things that are so big when you're a patient, absolutely.
So as you've journeyed forward, and you know you've looked after not only others but yourself, and you've gone through various modalities. I remember saying off camera that you found things like reiki to be very beneficial, and at first you were like, well, this isn't going to work. What was that part of your journey like?
That was a really interesting part, Sarah. And look, I tried reiki probably about 8 years ago. I was doing yoga one day, and I just became aware that I couldn't take a full breath. And I didn't know why, because there was nothing wrong with my lungs, or I didn't have a cough, or I hadn't had the flu or anything like that. And one of my friends at the time, his sister was a Reiki therapist, and he mentioned that. He said, oh, you know, Kath might be able to do some Reiki on you. And I went in there with a very open mind. I didn't know what Reiki really was. She didn't put her hands on me at any time during the treatment, but halfway through the treatment, I just suddenly took this massive involuntary breath, and I felt something. I felt like a blockage clear in me that I couldn't even explain. And when I walked out of that appointment, I went home and I laid on the floor, and I could take a deep breath again. It was quite phenomenal, and I didn't even really understand it then. And after that, I had one more treatment because it happened to me again about 6 months later. I went and had another Reiki treatment, and again, it cleared. And I just thought, there's something in this. But I was healthy at the time, so I didn't even go and have that therapy again because I didn't feel the need to. So anyway, when I was on chemotherapy and I was at yoga one day, I'd only just come back to yoga because I'd recovered from, I had to have a double mastectomy and lymph glands removed and everything. My cancer was major. It had already spread around different parts of my body as well, which was pretty terrifying. But I was at yoga, and our beautiful yoga instructor, who's a friend of yours as well, Sarah, Mama Kay, she said to me one day, I'm taking a Reiki class and it's got 6 people. I've got 6 students, and I wonder if you'd be interested in being our guinea pig and letting us practice on you. You'd have 6 hands on you at once. And I just went, well, you know what? I just want this cancer out of me. I will try anything, absolutely anything. So I went along, and at the time I was on chemotherapy. I don't know if you know much about chemotherapy, but it just gives you this massive fatigue that I can't even describe. I felt like I was 105 when I was on chemotherapy. No energy whatsoever. I'd go out and hang out some washing. I would be absolutely exhausted, have to lie down. If I didn't sleep, I'd vomit. It's that kind of fatigue. It's just all consuming. So I'd go to her class on a weekend, and they all had their hands on me. The next day, I would just feel amazing. I had so much energy. I could take my dog for a walk in the bush. It was the only time I actually felt like I was living when I was on chemotherapy after my Reiki treatments. And I would have them every second Sunday, and it used to get me through that really bad part. That first week after chemotherapy, you're absolutely flat. I'd be in bed for a couple of days just staring at the wall. After I had Reiki, I'd be out bush, I could do housework, I could participate in life again. And it really got me through my chemotherapy. It was amazing to the point that I became a Reiki practitioner myself. I absolutely love it. I know that it works. I can do it on myself. I love being able to treat people. My daughter came around last night and said, "Mum, I need a Reiki treatment. I just feel so awful." So I'm looking forward to seeing her today and seeing what kind of effect it's had on her, because she's very reactive to it, responds really well to it. And it's just something that I love, and I've just added it to my repertoire of health things that I like to dabble in my spare time when I'm not nursing. And sometimes, there's not many times as a nurse that you get time to do this on patients, but I definitely offer patients massage when I can, and I have dabbled in a little bit of Reiki at work.
Ooh, loving that. So Neil, everybody here, we've all experienced energy healing, and I'm curious to know, for you, the viewer, have you experienced Reiki or any other energy healing, and how did you find it? Did you, like everybody you're seeing on your screen right now, also get some benefits, whether it was in the moment, short lasting or long lasting? We would absolutely love to hear about your journey, so let us know. It's an interesting thing, isn't it? What steps we can take on our journey. There's so many people, if you've been given a cancer diagnosis or any diagnosis, there's people telling you this is the only way, just do this, and then suddenly you discover Reiki, or suddenly you discover art therapy, or suddenly you discover writing, or whatever it is that you discover. Know that it's good, because it's your units that you're enhancing here. So we initially, Neil, asked you what other modalities, helped you on your journey. Is there anything else that you haven't touched on there yet, Sheryl?
I'm trying to think.
Did you change your diet in any way?
At the time, I was eating fairly clean anyway. I've always preferred to eat good food. I don't like junk food, really. It doesn't make me feel good. When I finished my cancer journey, I put on a load of weight being on chemotherapy. I was one of the lucky people a lot of people absolutely fade away when they're on chemotherapy. They can't keep food down. They struggle to eat. They end up emaciated. I was putting on weight rapidly with my hormone treatments that I was on. I was on loads of cortisone, IV. When I got my chemotherapy, I'd be pumped full of cortisone as well, which for me just felt like a terrible drug. I had the big moon face. I had become barrel chested. I was just carrying so much fluid. When I finished my chemotherapy, I was up to 80 kilos. Now, my healthy weight is 60 to 62 kilos. When I gave birth to all three of my children, I was 75 kilos. So to be 80 kilos, I just felt so horrible. I can't even explain how bad it felt to be 20 kilos overweight. It just felt awful to me. And I couldn't wait to get it off. But I didn't want to do anything radical. I did monitor what I ate, but pretty much my diet was clean anyway. The weight did come off slowly when I was able to exercise again. But when I got to 70 kilos, it was really difficult for me to shift the weight. I'd been through menopause. I have trouble with high cortisol levels because I do night shift. So it can mess with your cortisol levels. I work in a busy emergency department. Often your cortisol levels are up. It's a stressful, busy, noisy, brightly lit environment. So I'm always struggling to maintain decent cortisol levels. And it's hard to keep that down. But my alternative therapies, I believe, help me to maintain a status quo. Yeah, but healthy eating definitely is something that I put up on the top. The program that I'm promoting at the moment is about gut health. So I've become really interested in gut health. Sarah and I earlier were talking about the fact that there's a lot of science being done with gut health at the moment, a lot of research into probiotics and the use of probiotics to avoid disease. And that's my new passion. I'm just really interested in about that. I went to a seminar not long ago. It was for nurses and doctors, and it was an obstetrics emergency study day that we have to do. Basically, it's mandatory training every year to keep our skills up to date with emergencies. But there was a scientist there who's working with neonatal science to try and work out why so many children have allergies and things like that these days, and that whole topic is being researched well and truly now. It's up there in the science community, and the more reading I do about it, the more fascinating it is about how our gut actually impacts our health and the way that we think as well. It's our second brain.
So the short answer, so how does our gut affect our health?
Well, your gut flora, like the gut flora that you have, it's a whole microbiome system in your bowel that where your food gets absorbed, it depends what sort of gut flora that you have, how your food's being absorbed. So even though I was eating fairly clean, I eat pretty much an alkaline diet. I was drinking too much alcohol last year. That increases acidity. Things like coffee increase acidity as well. So those things will stop you digesting food properly and effectively. And especially if you're trying to lose weight, adding those things to your diet, it's actually working against what you're trying to do. It's very hard to lose weight until you've healed your gut and you've replaced the microbiome with the right microbes. I get a bit tongue-tied talking about this because I'm not a scientist.
Yep.
Some of what the scientist was talking about was way above our head, but it really brought home to me that nurses and doctors actually don't know very much about the microbiome. And why aren't we being taught that when we can have such a massive impact and talk to our patients about it? We need more education about it. So that's something that I'm trying to do myself, educate myself so that I can pass this knowledge on to patients.
I love that you've brought that up. There's so many ways that we can educate ourselves, and absolutely agree. The more that the doctors and the nurses who look after us know, the more benefit we get. Yeah, so bring that on. I love that there are more people out there researching this. For me personally, I know that when I researched it, there's quite a big difference actually between the gut health of someone who's neurotypical and someone who is neurodivergent. So I absolutely love now that this is another area of research that's coming out and we're really starting to get into. So whether you are an ND, NT, whether you're a human or an alien, I don't know. Maybe that second brain of yours is trying to tell you something. We can listen. What's yours telling you? Neil, what's yours telling you? Is it saying like it's cookie time or what's going on over there?
It's always cookie time. So my stomach thinks, but that's not really as healthy as I can be or could be. But I have friends that send me regularly healthy versions of cookies so that they're removing the processed ingredients of it. And I love to experiment because I have a motto. I've not met a cookie that I've not liked. I may not want to try it again, but I still liked it for whatever it was worth. I've had them with dates. I've had them, there's any kind of concoction. And if they label it as a cookie, I'm willing to try it. Some more than once.
I love that. I think, there's so many ways that we can have fun with our diets whilst adhering to whether it's a low histamine diet or, low sugar or whatever it is. We don't have to be stuck with the bland and the boring. We can make it colourful our way. Sheryl, have you noticed any food trends that might be useful for somebody on a wellness journey that you're aware of?
Well, the FAT program, which is the program that I'm promoting and selling at the moment, it's based on an alkaline diet. So it's creating an alkaline environment in your stomach that helps you to lose the weight. And look, this is a controversial topic. Not everyone believes in that. We have people doing carnivore diets and all kinds of things. I think it's like we said before, Sarah, it's about finding something that works for you. It's about how your body responds to it yourself.
Yeah.
Personally, my diet was good, but things like coffee, alcohol was hindering my ability to lose weight. So I was down to 70 kilos. So I'd lost 10 kilos after I'd finished my chemotherapy. The last bit, it just seemed so difficult to get off. And I was blaming my hormones for it. I was blaming my hormone treatment for it. I actually thought that was the reason that I couldn't take the weight off. I went on this gut health program. It has completely changed my gut health. I just the way food moves through my bowels now is completely different. I have more energy. My skin has changed. It's just changed everything about me. And I just love the program so much that I've become a mentor. And watching people change their lives and actually get weight off and feel good about themselves and be able to have treats sometimes, but control themselves, control their eating so that they're not putting on too much weight. That's just extremely satisfying for me, because for me, it's been life-changing. I feel better. I can move better. I can be there for my children better. I'm a happier person. So taking control of my weight has changed my psyche completely. I'm just so much happier, and I want other people to feel as good as what I do. So, and I've learnt in this journey of weight loss that if you can heal your gut and put the right probiotics into it, you're burning weight off quicker. You get to your goal weight, and then you can sort out how to maintain that. So still, I weigh myself once a week so that I keep on track. If I've eaten things that don't make me feel good on the weekend, you can always start again on a Monday. And that's something I love about life. Like, you can always start again. You can always recreate your life, your health. It's never too late to start picking up good habits. It's never too late to pick up a great habit. I started running again last week. I haven't ran for 3 years, but I haven't had the energy until now. I've been slowly like doing yoga, I've been doing Pilates, things like that, but I haven't actually had the energy to get out and run until last week. And I feel so great for it. And I'm 57 years old, but it's never too late to start good habits and put yourself on a health program and pick yourself up again. And our motto at the FAT program is putting your health at the top. It's never too late to put your health at the top and reverse some of the chronic health conditions that people have from being overweight. I see as a nurse all the time, I'm not here to fat shame people, but there's so many people in hospitals taking up hospital beds that really need to take control of their diet, get themselves sleeping properly, maybe a bit of moderate exercise. They'd be a different person. Stop the suffering.
On that too,
absolutely.
Sorry, Neil, I'm going to interrupt you because I want to say that we can both fat shame and skinny shame. You can be skinny and very unhealthy. You can be a large person and be healthy. So, you know, there's a balance here, and I just want to share that if you are on one end of the spectrum or another and you're doing all you can, we are so proud of you. Keep it up. You're doing amazing. And I want to continue to Neil. I interrupted you before. Let's go.
That's okay. So, Sheryl, you had mentioned that an alkali diet. Why is for this program that you're talking about, why is it important for your body, your biome, to go alkali?
It's scientifically proven that the alkaline diet can help you to burn off fat faster and makes you feel better. There's also a theory that if you're putting in alkaline foods, that viruses and disease cannot survive in an alkaline environment.
Okay.
So
yeah, I just was getting clarity around that for our viewers, our listeners, and our audience that's the reason why you would put alkali foods in your body. And you were
A lot
trying
of
to say
people
something?
A lot of people are having diets that are so full of sugar now. It's unbelievable. So they're making their stomach very acidy environment, and a heap of sugar for your body is just not good for you. It doesn't make you feel good. It doesn't keep your energy levels at a nice stable level. It gives you big sugar highs and lows, and that's what adds to a lot of fatigue during the day. People, if they have a sugary lunch, they feel flat in the middle of the day, in the afternoon, can't do their work properly, have brain fog, all kinds of things. So it really does affect you on a daily basis, all through the day.
So we're not scientists here, but to the best of your knowledge, is it generally just processed sugar, or is it like fruits and sugars in fruits and vegetables? Or are you specifically talking about just like processed sugars?
Processed sugars, yeah. Processed sugars. I mean, it's not great for your body to have too much fruit either. There is such a thing as overdoing it, and that's why I guess that we used to get taught for the 5 and 2, or 5 vegetables and 2 fruits a day, because you can overdo your fruit. And you see a lot of people blending up and using little whizzes and shakers and all kinds of things to blend up fruits and vegetables now with their juices. Some people can overdo the fruit side of things and might find that impacts on weight loss as well. So you can definitely overdo fruit, but really I'm talking about all the junk food in society today that I think is making it really hard for people to make good choices. I went on a holiday recently. It was the end of my program. So I went on the weight loss the fat program that I'm now promoting. I started that at the end of November. What a crazy time, right? Who goes on a diet before Christmas? And that's another interesting point, actually, because when people are talking about losing weight, you might want to commit to a program, but you go, oh no, that's my birthday that month, I can't do that. Oh, it's Mother's Day then. Oh no, it's Easter then. Oh, we were at Christmas. But last November, something clicked in my head. It actually was a conversation that I had with my millennial daughter that I have to share with you. I was just talking about my weight and physical health in general, and my daughter made this comment and said, Mum, well, you're getting on, you're okay. You're probably at your peak now. Like, you're not going to get much better than you are now. And at the time I was feeling quite overweight, and I was happy, but I wasn't happy with my weight by any means. And I looked at her and I said, what, you don't think that I could be better than this? And she said, well, not really. Like, you're getting old. I don't know what you're expecting to achieve. And something clicked in my head, and I just thought, I am not going to stay overweight for the rest of my life. That's not what I want. I don't want to age this way. I can do better than this. And I went on this program, and it was the end of November. And part of me was thinking, how am I going to get through the Christmas parties? How am I going to do this? But you know what? I was just fed up with being overweight. So I got on there, and because I was paying money for a program, I don't like wasting money. So everything that I would pick up to go in my mouth, I'd just say, do I really need this? Is this good for my body? I really examined every morsel that went in my mouth every week. And the weight was just coming off, and I was feeling fantastic. I was adding probiotics to my drinks. My gut was just performing like it has never performed before. Excellent. The difference was amazing. So I was able to stay on the program. But that's what actually clicked in my head. It was a conversation that I had with my millennial daughter. Thank you, Tia, for motivating me and making me think that I didn't want to live like that forever. So it was the best thing she could have done.
You don't have to tell us, but where did you hide the body after your daughter said that to you?
It is a lot of bush. Yeah. I love the honesty of young people and old people, actually. You can get honesty from both of those.
That's one of my mottos, to spend more time with those under 10 and spend more time with those over 70. Because they're both,
that's great.
I learned so much from both.
That's such great advice, Neil. I wish that people under 10 actually ruled the world. It'd be a lot better place at the moment, I think.
Ooh, I'm curious to know where that thoughts come from. You know, most of the viewers know that I have a 7-year-old. She's very much about saving the world, and I love that. From your perspective, Sheryl, how would kids under 10 be the better rulers of the world?
I just feel like at the moment our world is more divided than it's ever been. With all the talk about inclusion and multiculturalism, I just feel like we are all actually more segregated than ever. And I'd love to see more people come together, more cultures come together. I'd like to see more people think about like the view of the whole world. I mean, children are just so beautiful. They're so honest. They're not racist. They don't sweat crazy. They don't worry about crazy things like adults do. Yeah, it'd be great to see world peace, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. I love that we're growing a whole range of little humans to take over in the best of possible ways. So if you, like me, are also raising a small human, yay us, and yay for the seeds that we're planting in them, the positive ones. You know, Sheryl mentioned before, you know, they're not sweating about the stuff that we are. The thing is, we teach them that sort of stuff. So if they see you doing that, they're likely to do that sort of thing. So if you don't want your child to do that, I don't know, but maybe it's something you can work on yourself. Like, I know I've worked on my stuff that I don't want my daughter to work on. Sheryl, I bet you've done the same, right?
I would like to think so. I'd like to think that I influence my kids in a good way. One of my children is very obsessed with training. He's into martial art at the moment. He's obsessed with his diet and training. He's very focused. And I love seeing that. I love seeing people take control of their life and recreate themselves and, you know, strive to be their best. Absolutely.
I love that you've mentioned recreation several times. You know, we do go on so many journeys in our life. You know, whichever perspective you're coming from, whether you've really looked into it or not, we all understand, you know, there's a difference between a baby and a toddler and a teenager and someone in their 20s or 30s or 50s. You know, we all have different stages of life, and love that you've mentioned recreation several times here. So Sheryl, with the thought of recreation in mind, how's mindset helped you on your journey?
Oh, look, it absolutely has. I've undergone just quite a transformation. I never thought that I would get cancer. A lot of people in my family have had cancer. It's just something that's very prevalent in my family. Because I've always been kind of health conscious, I avoid junk food, all those things that supposedly are carcinogenic. I never had it in my head that I would get cancer. I used to think the opposite. I used to think I'm a really positive person. I know that my family have largely had cancer, but I don't think that's going to happen to me. When it happened, it was quite a shock, and you could probably relate to that, Sarah. You get a lot of advice from people when you have cancer about what's going to work. And emotionally, it's just a really supercharged time. Like, I remember probably the worst part of my cancer journey was actually telling people that I'd been diagnosed. That I found the hardest thing, because people were devastated. I would be feeling strong, so I'd phone someone up to let them know the news, and they'd just fall apart. And that was one of the hardest things, telling all the people that are close to you that you've got cancer. But also out of bad things come good things, right? And it really does. It's really changed my whole way that I look at life. actually, and made me just reprioritize a lot of things. We worry about so many insignificant things in daily life that just aren't important. And when you go through something like that, you really go back to basics. And it's like everyone, like through COVID, everyone just really, we were all locked down. Our life become very simple, didn't it? But when your life's simple, you can actually look at what you're doing and where you're spending your time, where you're spending your energy. So I had a lot of time to lie around when I had cancer, thinking about where my life was going, what I actually wanted to do in my life, how I was spending my time. And the program that I'm on with now, that I'm promoting, I'm working with a lot of women who they're independently employed. They're running a business that they're choosing to work their own hours. It's very empowering. I mean, I'm still working as a nurse. I'm still working hard as a nurse, but in my spare time, I'm finding things that I like to do. And for me, it's just the spice of life. Like on my days off are spent full. I love doing what I'm doing. I go back to work energized. A lot of the people that I work with spend their days off recovering from shift work. I don't feel like that. I feel like this program has given me a zest for life that I haven't had for so many years. I can't even think of the last time I felt this good. I really can't.
Wow.
So
Yeah,
transformation,
it's wonderful.
Things that I love.
On that, across the screen right now, we have Facebook details for Sheryl. If you would like to get in touch, please feel free to reach out to her. As she's mentioned, she's a nurse. She works full-time. This is her side gig, so please bear with her. If she doesn't get back to you immediately, she will do her very best. But there's so much that she can share if you're on that journey and you're looking for support with your weight loss journey. Please feel free to reach out. I know my weight has fluctuated quite a bit over the years, and it's been a variety of things: medications, stress, injuries, lack of exercise, so many things. If you were to think about maybe the first 3 steps that you took in that journey, you mentioned, just that light bulb moment you had. What else happened? What was the next couple of things that happened for you on your weight loss journey, Sheryl?
Besides hiding the body.
Pardon?
Besides hiding the body.
It was committing to it. It was actually making the commitment. The mental commitment of a weight loss journey is the biggest step. But the other thing that I really depended on as well, with this program, I think there's a lot of different weight loss programs. There's a lot of choices out there for people. The difference with our program is that you have a mentor like me. So you have someone every week who's watching your progress. And that was a huge thing, because it's really easy to fall off a diet or give up when, when your body starts to lose weight. You'll lose like 4 or 5 kilos, and then it will just go into this massive plateau where you don't lose anything for days, and you just think, what's going on? Why aren't I losing weight anymore? This program's no good. It's not doing what they promised, and people just fall off the program and just give up and, forget about it and think, what a waste of money that was. That didn't work. But having a mentor helps you to stay on track. You got someone like me who calls you, makes contact with you, I get together and have lunch with my mentees and see how they're going. We talk about what sort of food we've been eating, how we're staying on top, how we're staying committed, how we're managing our social life, going out, how you can still socialise and say no to treats and things that aren't on our program, that make it all worth it in the end. So having that support is just a massive, massive help.
Absolutely, and I couldn't agree more strongly that having a mentor, a coach, and being mentored and having a mentee or a mentor for yourself. I think everyone needs some form of guidance, and when they're trying to achieve any kind of goal, whatever it is that their heart they want to do. Like I know when I ran my marathon, all 3 of my marathons, I hired a coach, and I looked after my nutrition. When I wanted to write my first my first novel, I hired a coach. And you look at any type of successful person at any level, and that you can put on a pedestal, like have achieved really great success, you can always find that there's a great coach or team under that person. And diet is included. You need a team. Your family needs you to support you. Your friends need to support you. And I would go, if your friends aren't supporting you and are pressuring you into making bad choices, are they really your friends?
Fair point.
Well, that's true too. It's really important to have supportive group of people around you, right? Especially when you're undergoing a weight loss program.
We have
Sorry,
someone asking about your program. This is Monica's wanting to know, do you have a dietitian in this program?
There's not a dietitian, but a lot of work has gone into this program. It's been put together by, like, it's a scientific program. It's proven. It's been put together by nutritionalists. So it is definitely a professional proven program. We have different programs as well. Within the program, we have vegetarian options, Indian options. There's a lot of Indian people who are taking up our program. There's a lot of Indian mentors now in the FAT program, which is fantastic. It's going across, it's across the world, this program. So there's different options within the program. And it's not all about weight loss. There are some people who just want their gut healed. They've got leaky gut issues. They're struggling with inflammation of their joints and things like that. We can put you on a probiotic program just to increase your gut health as well. Add probiotics to your diet. Learning how to add probiotics to your diet has been a really wonderful thing for me too, which I didn't know about. Things like, instead of drinking alcohol and soft drink, adding things like kombucha. I'm addicted to kombucha now. I have at least one of them a day. It's just been fantastic. They make me feel so good. I used to hate the taste of that years ago. Now I'm addicted to it. I love it.
Oh, so
I know it is so good for me. Sorry, I know it's so good for me, but yeah. When I take it, it is like I'm being a bad boy. It's like, I'm sorry, I got to drink this, but I understand that it is so good for you.
There's lots of things like that too, you know, like whether we're coming out for like a cold or something like that, you know, some of the things that I've seen people put in their bodies that maybe look like salad dressing to a lot of us. There's so many benefits in drinking that onion and parsley juice that they're sculling it down, getting it in their bodies and looking after themselves. I'm wondering then, have you got any tricks that you can share about getting over some of those, maybe not the most best flavoursome things that we know we should have in our bodies? Anyone got any tips?
You know, it actually makes me wonder if, when you've changed your gut flora, if it actually has an impact on your taste. I really think that maybe it does, because I really didn't like things like kombucha before. And I really love that now. I really love like vinegary solutions now. Like I add things like kimchi to my salads. I love it. I never used to like it. So maybe my taste has changed along the way. I don't know. But I definitely, when I started this weight loss program, there's a thing called Goop that we have in the morning, and it's basically phyto greens, and for me, it's the best part of the program, and I still do that in the morning because it makes me feel so damn good. And we mix up phyto greens with some aloe vera juice, and there's another vitamin, it's a condensed vitamin drink that we have, mineral drink. We mix that up in the morning. It's called Goop. And it's how we start our body off in the morning on the program. And I literally used to look at that and think, this is medicine. I literally think of my food as medicine anyway, most of the time. I still have treats, but mostly I look at food as medicine, because that's what it is. We're fueling our bodies why do people not want to put the right fuel in their bodies? We put the right fuel in our car. And, you know, we expect our cars to run well. We put the right fuel in. We're expecting our bodies to run well. We're putting the wrong fuel in, people. We're just filling our bodies with sugar, alcohol, coffee. Yeah, but I looked at it as medicine, and I would drink it down as medicine, and my body felt so good that my mind just clicked in and went, this is great for me. This is something I'm going to keep doing.
Powerful. And I love that you've mentioned food as medicine. You know, so many of us forget that food can be so healing. You know, we might go to the cupboard to get our vitamin supplement like vitamin C. We can get in oranges, for example, or many other places. And it's interesting too, for me, part of my health journey was learning that if I wanted to absorb iron as a vegetarian, particularly, I needed to combine the vitamin C with the iron so that my body absorbed it. On that then, Sheryl, is there anything as part of the program that you're doing that will support that?
Sorry, I'm not understanding the question, Sarah.
So when we're, as part of your diet, is there anything that they need to maybe up, like their celery juice intake or anything else that will help to support the program that you're suggesting, or maybe something as part of the program works?
Yeah, no, I understand that now. There's probiotics that we add to drinks during the day and at night, and we can have them every second night or whatever. It depends what program you're on as to how often you're having these additives. Yeah, there's different programs. So it's a little bit complex to ask me that about the program, but lots of different options there.
So I'm just going to bring up Monica's comment. She's saying thank you. She's as a dietitian coach and mentor, I think this only works when you use a holistic approach, which is what we've been talking about all session. And it's not just about releasing the weight, and it should be another diet. She also sees a lot of people giving advice about diet that's not the right for them, you know. So she's sharing a concern here. And I'm curious to know, Sheryl, from your experience, have you seen similar such things that you're also concerned about?
The people that I'm working with certainly aren't giving dietary advice as such. Our program, with our program, you actually get an eating plan, you get a list of food, and you get suggested recipes to combine food to make it easy for people that, you know, maybe can't think about what to cook for the night. So that comes as part of the program. So we're not telling people that they have to eat particular foods if they don't want to, but there's suggested recipes there if they want to.
Gotcha. And what about for people, like you mentioned before, being low on energy as particularly at the start of your weight loss journey? So for someone who's working, they've just had a big day, they've come home, they've got not much energy left, what's something that we can sort of do to help us to eat well and to sleep well and set ourselves up for the next day? Is that a more of a food thing? Is it a mindset thing? Is it something completely different? Help us out here. What's to know?
I think it's a whole combination of things, Sarah. I think it comes back to your sleep as well. Having good sleep hygiene, setting yourself up for a good night's sleep is so important. And look, we're hearing a lot about people taking their phones to bed, watching phones overnight, even kids sleeping with their phones or pods in their ears. This is not the way humans are meant to be living. We're getting overstimulated. We need to be able to put our phones away at night time, set ourselves up for a good night's sleep. But I also think it's important to get out and exercise as well. Sometimes when I've had a bad sleep, I'm on night shift, so the hours are crappy. I might get up and had a really disturbed sleep. The neighbours might have chopped down a tree, or there might be roadworks going on or whatever, especially in the hills where I live. We've had massive issues with storms earlier in the year, had lots of trees falling down, heaps of chainsaws going. Might have had a crappy sleep. But this is where I get out and exercise, take my dog out bush, get energised again, out in nature. I love yoga, so I've learned a few yoga moves that I can use that fire up my kundalini and get everything pumping and get me through the night shift. It's a combination of things. It's not just what we eat, but it's a holistic approach to life, and that's what I'm into. It's about everything. It's about feeling happy, being with happy people, getting fresh air, eating proper food, getting proper sleep. If people did all of those things and concentrated on their health a lot more, we wouldn't be seeing the chronic diseases that we're seeing at the moment that are preventable. Because actually 70% of chronic diseases can be fixed with sleep, exercise, and food. It's pretty phenomenal when you think about it. Our hospitals are full of sick people with preventable illnesses. If we could only instill in our young people how to fuel their bodies properly, avoiding obesity, avoiding diabetes. I mean, it's quite scary to think of, they say by 2030 that 50% of Australians are going to be diabetics. I find that frightening. How are our hospitals going to cope with this influx of diabetics? Yep. Our hospitals are overflowing already. Our government they need to start being a bit more proactive and, trying to get people to be a bit more independent with their health, because our health system can't cope at this rate. It's not going to help. It's not going to cope.
So this is where it comes back to work.
Absolutely. And I sat around, I was sitting with a bunch of doctors about 3 months ago, and I said, so what could we do and to help people with the obesity? And out of the two of the doctors that were there said, well, we can take the absolute jerk approach and say that in 2 years, anyone that is obese will get no service, period. And he says, because most of the patients are obese and most of their health concerns are directly related to it. And he says that wouldn't fly, but he says when they get no service, it diminishes the population and it then frees up. But he says, but nobody can do this. He says, because it's just not done. But he says, they're talking about that's the radical approach that they are seeing, that we need to instill some form of self-acceptance or self-care, that I need to look after my health and do whatever it takes. But we're pretty apathetic that it's always somebody else's job and I'll just take what's convenient. So it was a pretty radical conversation, and I almost spit my coffee out when one of these doctors suggested this to me.
Subtly hit your cooking too.
Yeah.
Look, I don't know. I mean, that all I can say, the health system is not going to keep coping the way that it is at the moment. I mean, we're seeing hospitals just so full all around Australia. It's not just here in WA. We had a child a couple of weeks ago that came into our emergency department with chest pain. It was a 10-year-old. And they weighed around 100 kilos. I think she was 102 kilos at 10. So again, I'm not here to fat shame, but that's extremely unhealthy. How can we have children that are so obese? It's not fair. It's neglectful. What sort of life is that child in for? I just feel like we've come to that point where, parents have to start taking control and start really monitoring what their kids are eating, because it's just out of control. And it's not the best, in the best interest for the child,
Absolutely. And I think at some level we need to hold our governments accountable to the labeling. Most people, when they look at a thing and it says great for kids and get your vitamins and minerals, and they think they're doing a great job, but then they look at the ingredients and it's 30 grams of sugar, and it's like, okay, so we as a society need to be more accountable as well, because so many things labeled for children is just pure sugar. I know in North America that's the way.
Yeah,
Definitely
well,
is.
it's not only children now. People's pets are obese, for God's sake, because people are giving their pets too many treats. Like, where does it end? It's not actually a treat when it's bad for you. We've got to change the way that we think about what actually is a treat. Is it something that makes you feel good momentarily, or is it something that's actually good for you?
Oh, that is
I don't know.
fair.
I think treats in a different way now.
I'm going to go on record and say cookies are a food group. They're a staple. No. But even that, yeah, even though I'm teasing, that would be one thing that I need to cut out, because the belly, there's a little bit over the belt now. So for my weight loss journey, cookies would need to go.
But only for a short time. This is another thing. It's only for a short time. I only did my program for 3 months to change my life. And now I'm maintaining it. So I can have treats now. It's not forever. It's just a program for a short time to change your life.
Absolutely. And I'm looking at the clock and the time, and I'm like, oh my goodness, Sarah, how did almost an hour get away from us? It's like, thank you, Sheryl, for being part of this journey. And if I was to leave, I'm going to ask you to spend a few seconds to think about what you would like to leave our viewers and our listeners on replay with a little bit of word advice. And I'm going to just say, find out what it is that you want to do in life and go and get it, and put as much energy as you can. Stay healthy and just go and try to succeed and get it done. Sheryl, your thoughts you'd like to leave with your viewers?
My thoughts is that I can't believe that we've talked so long about this, and it's just a great topic because it is so important. And my thing is, just take control. Like, you get one life, make it your best, and it's never too late. It's never too late to change. It's never too late to change bad habits. You can stop a bad habit and start a new habit, and in 3 weeks that becomes your habit. You know, it's never too late to change. Get the help you need, get control of your life, and just live the best life that you can, because you never know when it's going to get cut short.
Thank you.
Oh, powerful. I don't know about you, but I really enjoyed this episode today. And if you would like to subscribe to our channel, you are welcome to do so. If you would like to get hold of Sheryl, her information is going across the bottom of the screen right now. And of course, we would love to see you on forthcoming episodes of the Uplift Show. So much to absorb, like physically, mentally. At the end of the day, we hope from the Uplift team, we hope that you do your way and you explore and be the best you can be. Because let's be frank, as we design the life we desire, you are so worth it. So thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate you. We look forward to seeing you next time from the Uplift team. Take care.
Take care.